this series. Let's take a look. What do you know? It's going to be Afterburner, first thing coming off the board. This is one, I think, Afterburner and Overclock, kind of the two that have started to be targeted more over the past, what, like 2 weeks, really?
You know, the ban and protect kind of meta, it's moving away from the secondaries. So, you know, back into land qualifier, back in the early stages of the league, it was like Alcar, RK5. The MR6 still gets thrown in there from time to time when Nagafed is playing, but now we're moving towards like more of like a perk-oriented, more of like a specialist ability-oriented ban and protect phase.
Yeah, it's definitely gone that route, and there we go. You already have 2 perk ones coming out, which you didn't see, I don't think, Afterburner or Overclock attacked at all through the first 2 weeks. Really, over the past week or so,
well,
they've really
nobody
been targeted.
knew how effective they were.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the G slide wasn't figured out yet.
Sure.
People were like, you know, Overclock, it could be good. And then they started using it along with the abilities, and they're like, wow, this spring is actually really good.
Well, next thing you know, you have 6 out of 8 players running it. And then you really got the limelight there when I think it was Attach running Overdrive with Overclock, TP ran Overdrive without Overclock, and you saw one guy get like 6 flag caps because he had it almost twice as frequently. Really a shocker, I think, for many. You'll see Flashbang going. I got to guess Concussion will probably be the final one to round this one out.
I mean, it's Fizzer, so you really never know.
That's true. That's true. He might try to mix things up here. You know, if you're H2K, you want to prove that you're a top team right now. You're one of a few teams that started 3-0. I think 1 of 4 to kick off like that. You've had some recent struggles. Is there something you could specifically target here against the side of Rush to maybe slow them down a bit?
I honestly wouldn't have been surprised to see H2K ban out Flak Jacket. It's something we saw from them in the LAN qualifier. Worked out really well with their team dynamic. They clearly have a plan around that specific style of play, especially with the HCXD still in play. That's something we're starting to see, you know, get tested with in the ban and protect phase. I think that's something that could have definitely worked in favor of H2K, but instead they decide to attack that RK5, so that's going to limit the assault rifle players just a little bit. But we're moving it into the specialist draft. Already on the side of H2K, you got active camo, you got Heatwave, you got the Annihilator and Hand of Fears. Over on Rush, though, that Purifier sticking out.
That's good for Bunker. Yeah, I think that's a big one. It's going to be H2K going up against Rush Esports. Map 1, Hardpoint, Stronghold. Let's kick it off with Colchan.
Yeah, like I was saying, Colchan versus Lacefield. That's going to be a big matchup within this game. Both very aggressive SMG players for the team. And it's going to be Fizzorp. He shuts down Colchan early. Let's see how Fizzorp is playing this. Or Proofy, I wanted to see what he was doing. But Proofy did have an M8 in his hand as all the action going on in the middle. Hardpoint, so far it's all Rush.
And this is a map, I mean, you're definitely, we've talked about the fact that AR players and sub players have to play off each other so much. Do you think maybe on this map, I know it's a bit bigger, is there maybe one that's a more important role on this particular map in game mode between, you know, your sub and AR?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say if one's more important than the other.
It's kind of hard to say.
They both kind of, you know, work together in tandem. They both open the door for one another. You know, for example, if you're an SMG guy, if he's being aggressive, if he's having success, he pushes out those lanes. It makes it so easy as an AR player just to set up. You feel so comfortable in whatever position you're going to be playing. But at the same time, you know, if your AR players are holding down the position, the SMG players just need to keep pushing forward. So it's a kind of work together in tandem, you know?
Well, I think Wheats actually just doubled up his HC. I thought he was getting close to picking up his lightning.
Like, this is the best start you can
Exactly. I looked at it, I was like, he's got to be getting close to lightning, but it looks like he had that one death kind of in the midst of these streaks. He is ultimately going to fall. Still has that HC going. We're hopping over to Fizzorp. He's on a 2 streak right now. We'll see what he can get done. Rocking that MR6 that's become very popular with a lot of the players. It's kind of personal preference, I think, when you're talking about those secondaries, as they are so dominant. But Rush building up an early lead, about a 30-point advantage here early in the game.
Yeah, so far they're doing just a great job of locking down the couch side of the map. You got Wheats, he's got his Heatwave available, he's got the H6D, and you see the kind of positions that these Rush guys are playing. You know, they're waiting in the corners, they're waiting for H2K to push them and make a mistake as he connects with the Flak Jacket. They're going for the cleanup kill behind the bar. Colchan comes in, will clean up the kill, actually picks up 2. So as you're saying, so far in this early game, it's been all Rushes. Now we're starting the rotation towards the next hard point. We're going over to the half wall. You got H2K, they already have some position to work with. Fears, he's been getting shut down for what I've been seeing. He's 3-5 right now.
Yeah, and this, you know, we've talked a bit about this H2K team. You know, we've all been so impressed with them. You know, Rush has been a little bit more of a question mark. But with H2K, I think this is kind of a proving ground game for them. They need to take this. They need to prove they're at the top of the pack, that they belong with these top teams that they've been in the conversation with for the early part of this league. You go on that two streak as far as the little bit of a losing streak they're on right now. You have to win this one, right? You need to. This is when you're expected to win. You got to close this out if you're H2K. Yeah,
I think that's a fair assessment, Maven. You know, as H2K, they were one of the only undefeated teams at one point in time during this league. A lot of people had questions, you know, did they have some of the easier matchups so far? You know, they had some tough matches against FaZe, I think that was, what, yesterday where they matched up against FaZe. Obviously, that's a tough
Played
match
them pretty
to win.
tough, though. They played them pretty tough.
And they won what was it, the one map they won?
The uplink 14-11, I think it was. And that's kind of actually the thing I took from the most yesterday. I know FaZe and Optic extended out to 5-0, but what impressed me the most, I think, was how tough H2K played FaZe, and then how close the games were for Envy versus Optic. I kind of thought that'd be a tight series, but going 5 games, I think there were still some questions around Envy, even though I thought they were a top team. I think there were probably those viewers that thought, Optic's going to blow them out. It ended up being a really, really tight one, except for the game 5, which was a 6-0, and I think 5 total kills for the boys in blue.
I mean, going back to this game real quick, Rush, they're playing so well, Maven. They're able to chain together kill after kill. They're working really well off of each other. They're starting to earn some of their specialist abilities. Proofy's working towards that site. And Proofy, I mean, he really hasn't been able to do much. You got Colchan, who's 13-6, Wheats 15-7. So like we were talking about, the relationship between the SMG and the AR players, the SMGs, not only are they able to be super aggressive, they're finding success, they're picking up kills, and Proofy, all he needs to do is really stay alive and maintain control of the spawns for his team, which he has been doing for the most part.
Well, I think Wheats has been the MVP here through the first side, and really, you talk about how important Mansion control is for the first couple of hard points, because you have that one kind of bottom middle of the map, you then go inside of Mansion, and he locked it down. You saw how well he was doing there by back Lambo, how well he did playing kind of around the couch as well. Camo. Doing a good job here. Now, do you pop it here, or do you want to save that to try and eliminate a player that's maybe using his Scythe, using his Annihilator, trying to break in when those are all getting popped? Because Bunker is really where we're going to see a lot of the specialist weapons get used. That's where we're going to try and lock this down. A lot of times I like to see the camo used to kind of eliminate that player going on a tear with his weapon.
I mean, it could be used in both ways. I mean, let's say Colchan picks up the kill, his team pushes in, obviously great use of camo, but I think this first bunker hill is really important for H2K. And what Colchan was kind of thinking about, if we're able to break this early on, we're able to get in their heads, we're able to keep building the lead we have. They're up by 60 points right now.
It's true.
If they break in, if they take control, they go up by, what would it be, like, 100 points, 100 plus points. That would obviously be huge, but Lacefield, he picks up his streaks. As we were talking about, most of these hard points are pretty open, so that lightning strike, that Hellstorm missile, they're going to have some use later on in this game.
Well, let's check out, Fears right now is on a 4 streak. Let's take a look, as he started a little bit rough. He's popping his Annihilator as well, and we're going to see that shot looked all right to me. He's not going to connect, but a little bit of bait and switch as Lacefield is going to end up pushing him, and now they're going to rotate out. He's still got about half of that Annihilator to work with. We'll see if he can put that to effect as we move into our second side of the rotations here. Still pretty good control from Rush. Just waiting to see if he's even going to get eyes on with anyone. Finally going to find one up top, able to connect. There was a player pushing from Rock and also from half wall. Is he going to be able to keep the momentum going with his Annihilator? Sees one for just a second. That's going to run out. He's only got 4 shots in this. Didn't reload before he popped that Annihilator. Going to end up biting him a bit.
And Lacefield has used both of his streaks already. The Hellstorm missile picked up 2. The Lightning Strike also picked up 2. Proofy now, he's going to pop the Scythe. And this is a very important position to hold, specifically for this hard point. You can just have your teammates just hide up behind the contest spot. Proofy's going to be looking over you. You're going to feel very comfortable with the Scythe looking over you, mowing down anything that peeks that middle. Matt finds one, make it 2 Proofy.
Did they know he has a Scythe here? Apparently they forgot, because they kind of just ran around that corner. That's shooting fish in a barrel. Just getting mowed down with the Scythe. See the smokes coming out. Can he keep these going? Proofy being very effective with this Scythe now as he is pushing out. He's 16-16, but he's on a 4 streak here, and he's starting to get going. He started a little bit slow, Wheats and crew picking it up, but here we go. Starting to roll like Proofy does.
And like I was saying earlier, Rush's ability to chain kills together, like Proofy picks up 2, his teammates followed up with kills of their own. Each time you see these Rush guys start to get things going, their teammates are following up. Everybody's working well. It's like a well-oiled machine. As Rush, they're going to jump out to an 80-point lead and growing, but here we go. H2K, Fears and Legal, open things up. Pac-Man has the Purifier. This might not be the best hard point to use it on, but let's see if he can get something done.
Trying to push in, he's able to get that. The Purifier, I guess this would be the second best one maybe to use it on, Bunker or this, at least talking about kind of an enclosed, smaller area, one you could certainly use it on. But I'll tell you one thing, we saw a little bit earlier with Proofy. I love what the HD car has done to this game. Like the fact that it's being used in Respawn now, it is so fun to watch, adds such a dynamic for killing and also for scouting. So cool to see the mobility that those have and how players have opted to use them in Respawn.
Oh yeah, you could get so much use out of H6C, not only with scouting and gaining information in something like Search and Destroy, but specifically in the respawns for a hardpoint. Use it to break into a hardpoint, it's a distraction.
Yep.
Definitely weakens a player, if not kills them if they don't have flak jacket on.
Well, you just kind of nailed one of the main reasons I actually like it, because players don't seem to want to use frag, Semtexes too much in Respawn. We just haven't seen a lot of it.
That's the next best option.
The threat of the HC car kind of forces people to consider using flag. You have to make a flag class just because of that a lot of the time.
Especially because it's so easy to earn. You know, it's only like, you know, a couple of points to earn it. What, like 400 points? That's really not too hard to earn. But H2K, they're starting to climb back a little bit in this game. Only a 50-point lead for Rush. Let's jump over to somebody on H2K. Let's see what Fizzer's doing as I take a look at his class. So I saw some smoke grenades being thrown a little bit earlier. Maybe Fizzer switched up his class, but obviously he's the first person I think of as he picks up 2. H2K, man, they're making this a game.
They're starting to bring it back for sure, and they have the potential to do that. This is a team that was down 2-0 to CLG, ripped off 3 straight, and able to win that series. So they're capable of coming behind really in any situation if you can do that. Let's see, Legal here, playing sneaky in the bush, just trying to soak up time. He's got to contest there coming from mid-connector. He is ultimately going to fall. Rush still holding on to a 30-point advantage. You got to close this one out. You had such a big early lead. You cannot let this one slip away from you, especially when, I think everyone would probably consider them at least a slight underdog in this particular matchup.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's a fair assessment as well. But one thing to keep in mind, Pac-Man still has that Purifier. So this next rotation, moving over to the bunker hardpoint, it's going to be big for Rush. And this is where they could really, you know, jump out. They could actually win on the next hardpoint. Well, so that's something to keep in mind. They could just give up this final 20 seconds and go ahead and push over.
Well, what do we have? We'll have to take a look through in a second just to see. I'm curious on the side of H2K. Do they have anything up to deal with a Purifier? Do they have camo to maybe take him out? Can he connect there? That's going to be, in the transition of this hardpoint, any kills you can pick up are absolutely huge in getting set up for your team to spawn. And you'll see when we take a look at it, first team in is definitely going to be H2K. Rush trying to break in. Legal's able to hold off 1. Can Proofy and Co. break in? All the kills in the kill feed coming in so far have been for H2K. You saw Proofy nab 1 before he's going to get taken out. This is looking solid for H2K thus far. Does Pac-Man end up using the Purifier? This looks like a decent opportunity if he can actually get in and set up. He might pop this now.
Yeah, as soon as he gains some position inside the hardpoint, look how he is. He's zoning out specific spots, even getting players all the way near the background. The Purifier going big for Pac-Man. He picks up 3 as Rush, they break into the hardpoint.
Oh, this is unbelievable. That was perfect. Full streaked out. That might have just won them the game.
Oh, but as soon as he pops the HCXD, it gets shot, taken out. Fortunately, his teammates still have position. Only 20 seconds remaining on this current hardpoint, as now it's going to be Proofy following things up. Wheats is right beside him, actually. Colchan picking up the team kill right there, but that was a huge break for Rush. They now find themselves within 10 points of winning the game.
At least 5 kills, I think, with that. Also picked up full streaks. That might have closed the game out there. And you talked about it. Even in the ban protect, we knew that'd be the hard point to be used on. We know how big it could be. He used it perfectly. I loved how he was kind of inched forward, just kind of using his corners perfectly, just extending that flame. Did an excellent job there. And it's even hilarious that he rounds that out by getting killed by his own HC car.
Yeah, big play from Pac-Man, and he really only got 1 use out of that Purifier. It was 1 opportunity. He had it for a good majority of the game. Didn't get it for the first bunker hardpoint, so that's why we didn't see it used there. Saved it throughout each of the next hardpoints for that specific moment of the game.
Well, you kind of have to, because if you don't have overclock, if you're not having a great game, you might only get it once. Typically,
that's the thing with the specialist weapons.
Twice, but you might only get it once. So I like that he opted to save it there, and it really paid off.
Okay, but H2K, they're not giving up just yet. A 40-point game for them. They're starting to heat up 3 players for H2K, passing that 30-kill threshold. Same for Rush. Fizzerp, though, he's got the scythe in his hand. Well, he has it available for use. I got to think he needs to use it for this next hardpoint.
You have to. They need 10 more points. If you're you got to pull out all the stops right now, you would think. I know this isn't maybe the best hardpoint to use it, but you have to use it to some effect. At least lock off one of these
if he gets set up behind the couches right here, his teammates cover the top. It could be very effective. They're forced through those 2 narrow doorways at the bottom.
And especially, he hasn't realized this, but with them spawning out back, he could have held it really well from either lower ramp or, top here at table. He has a lot of options, but his team getting the dirty work done. They've only allowed 1 point in. They're only trailing by 15. They're starting to come back. Is this going to slip away from Rush? What an incredible game 1 we have. All the kills coming in are going to be from Rush, though. They might be able to close this out. Legal, can you break in? Tries to slide in, not able to do it, too. Taken away, 1 point left, and that's going to be Rush closing out for the game 1 victory. That one was scary.
Oh, H2K certainly made it a game at the end. It wasn't looking like it was going to finish this close, especially with Rush. Pac-Man going huge in that final bunker hardpoint. Put Rush within 10, moving into the middle hardpoint. H2K, that hardpoint is pretty tough to lock down. Pretty easy to contest it from both sides. But H2K, they do it. They make it a game going into that final hardpoint. Rush, they break in at the end. Fizzerp not using the scythe. maybe a bit of a mistake there, but Rush come up big. They win game one.
I didn't see exactly when he got that, but you got to think it was H2K set up first inside a bunk. Can't make an impact with grenades because we've seen on stuff like Redwood some of the nade spots that Fizzerp has. So maybe making sure you have Black Jacket and maybe banning out frags and Simtex might be something you could do.
I wouldn't be surprised to see something along the lines of like an HC go. I think especially on this map, you gain so much information from the HC, especially when trying to clear out the B bomb site, even the A bomb site. Like the HCC is so good wherever the map. The one thing you can't go is underwater. It's not a submarine.
Ooh.
It's overguard. So the SVG is going to get protected from Pac-Man.
And now
I was actually about to bring up that point because this is not a map where I really see snipers being too prevalent.
So who protected Overkill? So I was about to say Overkill, whenever something happens with Overkill or the SVG, the next one is pretty much targeted immediately. So to see them both protected, I mean, who do you think that favors right now? I feel like probably like that might favor H2K, even though the protects are coming in from Rush.
I mean, I like to talk with Jack a lot about Overkill because you don't necessarily have to use it with a sniper rifle. You could do something like an M8 with a VMP. That's not too bad either.
Having that sub in your back pocket is huge. I think it was Fizzerp that I was watching the other day. They were playing Infection S&D. He was the player kind of playing on that B bomb site. They had Overkill. He was rocking, I think it was either a Shiva or an M8, but also a VMP. And the number of times I saw him, he had fast hands. He would get a kill with that long-range kill. He would then fly out with the sub and catch somebody off guard. It can certainly make an impact.
All right, so you're talking about slowing down the game if you're on the side of Rush. Well, Afterburner, that was the last ban. There was actually someone on H2K legal with that last ban, but the concussion's still in the game. The flashbang's still in the game. That is certainly something that will slow down the game a little bit. And that also brings into the discussion, what do you use for your third perk?
Well, that's true, because usually, most of the time, you're going to see Blast Suppressor, Dead Silence. Now I think you have to consider Tac Mask. Well,
you definitely need a backup class at the very least.
Certainly. But the question is, what do you kick it off round one? Are you scared? Do you have Tac Mask on just in case? Do you go with the more stereotypical, just having that kind of, usually, again, Blast Suppressor, Dead Silence? It'll be interesting to see what they do. I think you're going to get kind of a variety out of the players. The aggressive guys might want to have Tac Mask. Well, actually, if you're the aggressive guy, you want to have all three of those. We need a perk 3 double greed.
Rocking 3 perk 3s. But I think if I'm in this game right now, if I'm playing, I think I use a Blast Suppressor and Tac Mask.
Okay.
And I make like a 2-stun class, and I just try to be aggressive as possible.
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, Dead Silence in this game is important, sure, but it's
important in specific situations.
Like a 1v1.
Yeah, like a 1v1.
Even like a 2v2, whatever.
Okay, so Shiva will be in play, of course. Fizzerp, he's going to have that in his hands. I just want to see no snipers, no overkill for the guys on H2K, but I want to see what Fizzerp can get done with the Shiva. I mean, looking down this B bridge, it's going to be a nightmare for these guys on Rush.
Unless you have a thermal sniper or something for the other side, but look, it looks like they're all kind of being aggressive, sort of mid-side.
Lacio has to be super careful here.
Yep, he's going to get pushed. Wheats, though, able to pick him up, goes vertical with it. Nice job getting the kill. 4-3 advantage here early for Rush.
Make it 4-2.
I think Pac-Man's going to be the difference maker on this one, man. He's been very, very strong on this map.
Oh, no, the team kill coming in from Fierce, but he does pick up one. Takes down Wheats. Now being pushed by the remaining Rush players. As this round quickly went out of hand.
Oh, there you
go. The sniper from Cold Chan going to clean up Fierce. Man, Rush showed H2K no respect right there. They pretty much ran right up the middle of the map, covering each other's backs. They opened things up over here. There's a building right here, and finishing things up with the snipe.
That sway worked out perfectly for him, right? Just whips right into him as he peeks, able to close it out. So 1-0 Rush, good start. Who's going to be the difference maker here if H2K is going to go big? They have a lot of competent S&D players, but so far looking strong here for the side of Rush.
Okay, so Cold Chan's the one with the overkill sniper. So that's the guy who they were protecting it for. Overclock being used by Pac-Man, trying to get more of that kinetic armor. Cold Chan, he just doesn't have enough points to get a perk 1 in there, but he's sniping over middle map, not even using the thermal sight. Well, that was the one that was banned out, I'm sorry. So of course he can't use it.
Okay, so I actually missed that, so that makes sense. Now, Cold Chan, I've seen him hit some absolutely ridiculous snipes. Oh, almost able to connect. They just keep kind of shoulder peeking him there. Proofy's going to snag one. 3v3 here early. Gameplay slowing down just a little bit. That's Lacefield coming around, able to snag one. Is Cold Chan going to find anyone to connect with here? It's just going to be him and Wheats going up into the 3 here of H2K.
So it seems like a lot of the action going down near the middle of the map, a little bit towards the B side as well. Even on the defensive side of things, they have one guy over near the A bomb site. I mean, what was really stopping Rush from just running along the A bridge, taking control of the back area?
Sure. Yeah, I think B is just pretty, I mean, for the most part, just been kind of favored in this one. And again, we've talked about the fact that it hasn't been practiced as much as some of the other game modes. So This is one where I think we're going to see at times maybe a little bit of sloppy play, maybe some indecision from players. But there, you saw the swimmer coming in. Is the timing going to work out? Will he be able to see them? I think he got eyes on one. One jumps up, able to pick that up. All of a sudden, it's going to be a 2v2. This is actually looking pretty good here for the side of Rush.
Colchan could actually jump back into the water and dive up behind these players. He's going to check the bomb. Doesn't see anyone here. Jumps back in the water.
He's right next to him. He's holding hands. He gets one. There's another one there. This would be for 3. Is this actually for the ace as well as Colchan's on streak? No, I think it's for the first round, but not able to close it out. Lacefield gets it 1v1, and that's Wheats able to wrap things up. He was like 2 feet from their player.
They had their swimmies on. They were right next to each other. Colchan, all he had to do, if he turned to his left like a moment sooner, he would have been able to pick up both kills fairly easily. Fortunately for him, Wheats is there to trade out the kill, and we were talking about third perks. Wheats, he's going with Dead Silence and Tac Mask. No blast suppressor for him.
And, you know, we also talked about how important that area is around the waterfall and water. I mean, all those final kills kind of coming in from people just kind of going in circles there, wrapping through the water, trying to get in behind because it can be so difficult to get vision on these guys. But good start here for Rush. Going to be a 2-0 lead, and you can see they're favoring B yet again. But that's Pac-Man picking up one. He's got that nasty shot with the M8. Yeah,
Legal challenging that a bit early on. Fizzer will find one here on the bridge, but not before Wheats is able to clean up Fierce, so man advantage remains with Rush. As it's down to Lacefield and Fierce, and these guys, they are so bunched up. They just have no position to work with Fizzer. I think he caught a glimpse of him, but there's, like I said, holding hands here in the water. Colchan finds Lacefield all down to Fizzer with the MR6. Not good enough against the VMP. Rush, man. We had H2K going into this map, but Rush, they've won every single round.
Back when we play games together from time to time. Proofy, I love you like a brother that I never had. I apologize that I questioned you guys. I thought this was certainly, I think the majority would probably say this is H2K favored, but Rush proving us all wrong right now. As you know, maybe it's just, again, we talked about the stress of trying to find an org. The stress between the players is trying to get that all figured out and come to terms, agree on who they're going to go with. Now that it's done, now that it's buried here, you know, they probably have their contracts, salaries, all that stuff's been solidified. Maybe it took that load off, and now these guys are ready to rip.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm seeing in this game, Rush has completely dictated the pace of this game. For the most part, H2K really haven't left their base much, especially in their offensive rounds. They need to be a bit more aggressive, explore some of the map, try to see where you could exploit, see if you could find a hole in the defense like Rush is doing right now. Wheats is going to be able to get all the way back here. He could climb a tree. He could do whatever, steal this Jeep right here.
Beautiful
and
map
H2K would never know.
He really is getting the full tour here of Hunted right now. And the question is, do the players on H2K have any idea that they've just look at like if you talk about map control and like having an idea of where imagine there's like that kind of fog of war like in StarCraft and you're just kind of opening the map right now. You've got everything pretty much open right now if you're Rush. You have no clue what's going on if you're H2K.
Yeah, H2K, who is it? I think it was Fierce. He gets shot in the back by Wheats. Fierce is like, how the heck did he get in this position? Sure. They have no presence middle map. They had no presence over near the A bridge. There's pretty much the whole map wide open for Rush to take, and now it's all down to Lacefield. He does find one, but he's so far away from the B bomb site. There are like pretty much 3 ways you can get this B bomb site. Either you're going through the water or you're going through one of the sides. He's gonna go along the wall run. He does spot one player here, but Wheats cleans him up. 4 rounds played, all 4-1 for Rush.
Looking very good for Rush here, and it's pretty evident too that they are just, you know, I don't want to say necessarily the superior S&D team because we've seen H2K look very good, but when you're talking about this particular map right now, they're completely
they clearly
outplaying
look
them.
Better. Yeah, I mean H2K, they look outclassed right now. They've just been playing very static. You know, they go to their positions, they set up, and then they've been waiting. Whereas the guys on Rush, you know, they've been bringing the action to H2K all game long. And H2K, they're really just sitting there and letting it happen. I mean, Legal, he's yet to pick up a kill. In this round, you need H2K to play a bit more aggressive. You need to take some risk insertion to show you can't play safe all the time. That's not how you win consistently.
Could not agree more, Revan. We'll see what they're able to do here in round 5. Can they keep it going? Legal going to be first blooded. He's 0-5.
It seems like he's gotten first blooded like just about every round.
Several times, yeah. He's certainly struggling right now. It's already a 2v4.
And you could tell they look like pretty uncomfortable on this map right now.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to play it. A great way to put it because it's pretty evident. That is certainly how it's playing out. Fear is managing to stay alive, but they're in a bad spot because they're both here around bridge. They can get pinched so easily. Pac-Man's going to pick up yet another. Fizzer finds himself in a 1v4, and this is the back-to-back rounds are in a 1v4.
Yeah, it's tough for H2K. I mean, Fizzer certainly capable of clutching a 1v4. And this is a map where Rush has been 1v4'd on before.
That's true.
I think this is a map where, you know, these 1v scenarios are certainly manageable, but now you're down 0-5 as H2K. You have no wiggle room left. You can't give away any more rounds. things are just, everything's working out for Rush here. You know, they're hitting their shots, they're getting first bloods, they're working the man advantage. They could really push wherever they want on the map, and it'll work.
Yeah, and there's just no saving grace right now for H2K. I mean, this is looking almost as one-sided as the
It can't get much more one-sided than this.
The Optic versus Envy match we saw last night. I mean, they have a few more kills, but in rounds, I mean, this has been just a dismantling here by the side of Rush, just completely controlling the pace, the tempo, the map, really every facet of this one. Cole-Chan opened things up early with some nice snipes. We'll see if he can continue that streak. He's 5-1. Pac-Man 6-1. I mean, everyone getting it done on Rush right
So far, it's a good defense.
Oh, what was that?
What was that? Cole-Chan, 6-shot, takes down Lacefield.
Lacefield,
I was about to say, good job, HJK. You know, they're exploring a bit more further up the map. They're establishing some map presence, but they're just getting picked apart. Proofy finds Legal, knocks down to Fizzerp and Fears.
That was a disgusting shot. Like, that was absolutely amazing there because he's getting tagged up. Hits that with fire coming in. Fizzerp able to get one, but he's so weak, he might be able to close that out, and Pac-Man's able to pick it up. Last shots coming in there. Proofy, accurate as always. 6-0 is the score. 2-0 is the series.
Legal finishes with 0 kills.
Rush, you're looking good. Legal, that's a tough one. We had an 0-6. Oh, God. Somebody went 0-6 last night, too. It was really, really struggle city for a couple players here recently in S&D. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you add up the total kills for H2K. They have 8 kills as a team.
Oh, Lord.
Pac-Man has 7 alone.
That's painful. And Pac-Man, I mentioned he looked really comfortable in this map the last time I saw him play it. It's been quite some time since I've casted him or watched him on this, but he looked great, and there you go, 7-0. All right, guys, welcome back. We're right into Ban Protect. Connection issues solved right off the rip. You see, again, perk ones have been targeted so heavily over the past week or so.
Just missed his ban.
All right, Pac-Man. Well, let's hope that's not a connection issue. But you'll see Overdrive going to go, Overclock out. I think I mixed up those two names approximately 17 times last night. But the final
thing, they're both taken out here, so you don't have to worry about
that. Was that the Coot or the M8?
The M8.
Okay, so M8's going to be the final thing to go. So, you know, you talked about Proofy, how he's been more comfortable, well, at times running a sub.
Yeah.
I think that kind of scenario kind of helps him because, you know, he loves the M8. Fears has been dominant with the M8. I know these guys can use any rifles, and in my opinion, on this particular map, I don't think the M8's that big of a deal. Because
XR2 is fine.
Well, not even that. Like, because the fact that we saw Formal last night using a Man of War on this map, an ICR on this map in Hardpoint, use the XR2 at some point. The fact that this plays a little bit faster and you have lots of subs, I don't think having an automatic AR is that bad on this.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help you in those close range engagements. You get pressured by your sub. You can feel a bit more confident in your hipfire, but
exactly, the hipfire, I mean, is it great? No. But is it better than an M8?
Yeah. So looking at the specialists that we're going to see in this game, Pac-Man's here because he picked up the kinetic armor. His teammate Proofy has a scythe, camo for Cole-Chan. Just about the same thing. It's actually going to be a complete mirror matchup. So, well, let's start with somebody from Russia. I want to watch Cole-Chan. This seems to be Cole-Chan's map, and you know, every time I watch Cole-Chan play, man, he has this extended mags on the VMP. Just something about it, it just works for him.
6. Well, it's absurd. I mean, you could really, he got
never have to reload.
You got to kill there with 9 shots. So, I mean, really, he could chain together 5 or 6 kills if he's shooting accurately. And Cole-Chan still able to pick up 1, gonna end up falling, couple down really for either side right now. Drone gonna be in the hands of H2K here. Looks like they want to wrap it topside, potentially see if they can move it out here through the second and third hard
You know, we were so busy talking about perk ones, we forgot that the Shiva made it through the Ban Protect phase. Proofy has that one in his hands, but Fizzerp, he's carrying the drone right now. He's so close to being able to get a dunk. He's going to try to come up right behind these players. He doesn't get shut down. Lacefield nonetheless will try to keep this push going. Weeks carries the drone. He's going to be able to get it a bit further across the map.
I thought the player he was chasing, I thought it was a team member leading him.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay, all right. For a second when he dropped, I thought it was somebody else shooting him in the back because he didn't really have any cover there. All right. That was just me being slightly confused for a moment.
Crazy series of plays. I mean, both teams had a clear opportunity for a 1-point play. The toss coming in from Cole-Chan.
Oh, later.
Nice.
Taking him down.
You know, at least he trades with Lacefield right there.
They bump into each other, I believe not. Either able to get across, but still going to be 0-0 after that crazy push coming in from H2K. Looking illegal now, trying to have a long-range battle with the VMP. That's one where you have a little bit more luck with something like the Razorback. We saw John using that one last night. Pretty good for those medium to long-range battles. Going to be a tough one for the VMP.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The Razorback definitely viable in certain situations, but so far I've seen both these teams, they've had 2 opportunities total in this game to get a 1-point toss. You had Pac-Man, he made it up through that front side of the lobby. You could toss it through that top window, score from there. You had Fizzerp, he could have just tossed it over the laundry building and made it in, but instead these guys trying to go for the dunk, trying to go early, and I think the longer H2K goes without a score, obviously that's going to favor Rush, but in terms of like team morale and how the team is working together, I think that's not going to be working well for H2K.
Well, they're able to get through a 1-point toss, so Rush is going to get, really, it was a quick, just a pull right through mid, just got that toss, I think, through the mid door. So they're able to fire one through, take a quick lead here. Now you're going to see the XR2 auto burst coming into action. This is really the one position where I think it can shine, not water, but this general area of the map, kind of top glass, around water. You can really do damage with that, where it becomes more of a liability is when you're trying to actually push up, layer the map, get towards the actual uplink.
You know, you kind of be the caboose for the train. You anchor things down, you maintain position. The drone spawns off the score.
I like that
Go
metaphor.
ahead, pick it up, and pass it forward.
I would be the caboose to your train anytime. I'll cover you all day, Revan. Listen, my gameplay, I'm a support guy. I don't have oh, look at that pick there. Who was that soaring in? The acrobats coming in from the side of H2K. Nice stuff.
And I know in this game it can be a bit tougher to get those intercepts off. You know, I was watching a European game earlier today. There were like 3-4 different interceptions. There's some crazy stuff going on in Europe.
Well, it's nuts because I think in Advanced Warfare, that interception play became so common. I mean, it happened like every game of Uplink because the movement obviously a little more diverse in that game.
You get that side-to-side boost.
Exactly. So a little bit easier to pick those up. But I think players are getting more comfortable with the movement, more comfortable with timing. And now this is a great camo play. He's at least got a 1 point, has just enough juice to get through, picks up the kill as well. Colchan, they're up 3-0. They want to shut this one down with a 3-0 in the series as well.
Another play I saw in the European World League today. Player was trying to wall run with the drone here on evac.
Okay.
Afterburner was banned out. He didn't take that into account, tried to go along the wall run, not enough there, but the camel coming in from legal, he takes down Pruvia, maintaining position over near the neutral drone. Pac-Man is here to continue this forward, also has kinetic armor available for him.
Well, that's something we talked about, Matt and I, the one time we were casting, maybe it was you and I, but banning Afterburner, it throws off a lot of things.
I mean,
it throws off timings, just thinking about G-slides, where you're able to get, whether, and not even with G-slides, just using regular slides really gives you a bit of a speed boost. So that, with the wall running, Afterburner can really mix things up, because you got to think, when they play pubs, when they play scrims, up to this point, 99% of the time they were using Afterburner. Now it's becoming a thing where it's getting banned in every other game, kind of feels like?
Oh, it's definitely becoming a bit more common, and, you know, unfortunate throw from Pac-Man right there. It lands on top of the building. Doesn't even go out of bounds, so this is going to be a 15-second resend. Colchan, I didn't even notice this guy already has streaks to work with. He's got the Lightning Strike. He's got the HCXC. Definitely something that can help his team out later in this game, but Pac-Man, another position where the assault rifle can shine in. Top AC right here. Has some important kills to make for his team. The drone carrier, it's going to be Lacewell pushing forward. It's actually the Lightning Strike that gets called in.
He's about to get backlocked. I think there's a player directly behind Pac-Man. Is he underneath maybe? Oh, there comes the heat wave. He's going to get pushed. This should be a dunk, certainly, right?
He's running
8 seconds left. You got to get it through. He's waiting for the cover. Here comes the high flying act. It's Lacefield firing one through. Only trailing by 1 now. I don't believe anyone's got an opportunity here to get one in. Surely not with that little time left. But it's got to be a little bit frustrating if you're Rush. You controlled the drone. You controlled the map for really 99%. It was what, an opening push you saw from H2K and then a closing push. Those were really the only two pushes you saw for the most part, right? Just that one right off the break.
I mean, if Fizzerp decides to go for the 1 point play when they have control of this third hard point area, it's all tied up. But Colchan using the Lightning Strike there, just trying to slow down the push from H2K. Sure, it slowed it down, but didn't prevent them from scoring. But as it stands, Rush, they maintained that 1 point lead. Let's see if they could hold on to it.
All right, let's go, Mr. Evan. Here we are, side 2. Can Rush close it out? Drone going to be in the hand of H2K as they're trying to push through bottom mid. Unfortunately, the young god, Colchan, there to shut it down. But there's 2 players left to push. One of them is going to have to grab the drone. Looks like it's going to be Lacefield. He's at least got a 1 point toss here. He's got to bury this. That might have been off to the right. Nope, he is going to put it through. Tie game, 3-3. And do you think, just a quick question, do you think there is kind of a favored side to this, a stronger side, or is it pretty, I feel like it's been relatively 50-50 for a lot of these maps?
I mean, really, once you get that spawn trap going, both sides have equal opportunity to get the train going. In terms of like a favorite side that I like to be on the side that Rush is on now. When you're pushing forward, I think it's just a lot easier to, once you get like control of that top AC area and you're able to cut off the spawns from the team as they push around from laundry. I just think it's so easy to either consistently get the 1 point tosses in, but also, you know, you go around the corner from AC, you just thrust forward a little bit and you already got it done.
Well, you know, and that's one thing to mention. I think because there's that balance with regards to, I guess the spawn trap is kind of equally effective on both sides. I mean, the main thing, and that's Fears, that's one you got to put through. But I think the main thing probably comes down to which side just has the easier one-point throws. I mean, that's probably the separators because you can get one-point throws in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, I think that wall run that we just saw Fears, the wall run throw there, we see that consistently missed by some of these players.
And that's one you got to hit too. I mean, it's not the hardest shot in the world. I know it looks hard, but really one you can definitely bury consistently. Now this is a one-point toss that is going to go through. Good job there.
Bit of an easier one.
Yep, H2K. They line that one up. They've got a one-point advantage, but 2 down, going to be down right now. Who's going to be able to get control of the drum?
Bizarre got streaks, calls in the lightning strike, takes down Pac-Man only with it. But speaking a bit on the side that Rush is on right now, the one-point toss that's most commonly seen is the one over the building right in front of glass.
That's 3 down. This has got to be points. You've got to at least tie this one up. Look at the flood just coming in right now. Fear is trying to hold it off. He's done such a good job. He slowed it down enough that you don't get anything. This is Fears. Fears just stopped a one-point play or a dunk, because if they would have got 4 right away with 3 down, they really could have done some damage here. But Fears just crushing right now with the man of war. You see nades flying in, drone down. They just can't take him out. Someone's got to push maybe through middle, but he's got teammates backing him up.
Yeah, Legal is trying to make a push on the flank from H2K, but Fears, he has been doing a fantastic job of just locking down the spot. Normally you see this assault rifle player top glass, he's choosing to stay bottom right here, and no player's really even gotten close to him. Finally he's going to take some shots, forced to back down. Pac-Man's the one with drone control.
How is he still alive? Like
I'm actually speechless right now. He really should be dead by now.
4
he's
streak,
still getting picked up.
5
He's got
streak,
kinetic armor,
and he's getting real close to streaks. Is this an opportunity where if he pops his kinetic armor and can get a dunk right now, that heat wave is going to be big. If they can kill him, that's huge, because he was very close to getting fully streaked out. Now is the time. Can they move forward? There's one player to beat. Wheats actually pushed by one. I don't think he realized. He was trying to be that lead blocker for the drone carrier. Didn't realize there was one still in this corner. He's going to ultimately get him. But those like single kills that players like Legal and Fears have been getting, that's slowed down any opportunity for momentum from
slowing down so much as well.
Rush hasn't been able to get forward at all.
Yeah, they've been fine from their base for most of this side, but Pac-Man, he's able to find 2. Wheats follows up with one of his own, so players starting to drop. That's 3 down for H2K for just a moment. Could be a one-point toss from Wheats, but he's going to push it forward for 2. One player over near bottom, AC, tries to reposition, but Fizzerp is all over it. Great kill so far from H2K on the defensive end, but this push from Rush, it's still going. The drone in the hand of Colchan, he goes ahead, pops the camo, gets a dunk off of it, so Rush now back in the lead.
Unbelievable. You know, as sloppy as this, maybe not sloppy the right word, but as much as this has been,
well, it's just like from what we saw on the other side, right? You know, Rush were in complete control in H2K. They come back at the very end there.
It's looked so ugly for Rush throughout most of this side, but they get the dunk that matters. They have the lead. The question is, do they have any opportunity to kind of extend on this? And now they're getting forward. This is a good chance for them to at least, you want to get a one-pointer here, at least make it a dunk game.
Where's the drone at? Oh, that's rough.
No, and that was definitely, I think, going to potentially be 1 point. I didn't even see how he got up there.
I think maybe he went for the one-point toss and might have hit like something up in the air.
I'm not sure.
Like maybe there's a little metal thing here?
I guess that works out for them in the sense that it burns a little bit of time for him. Pac-Man's got a huge battle by the drone. He loses that. Fizzerp gets a huge 2-piece. Now Fizzerp is set up. You can see on the mini-map there, he's kind of down in water. Picking up 2 there might allow them to get some drone control, but Colchan in a position to be really, really annoying. He's got to flank quickly, though, because they're pushing Proofy quickly. He gets one. The drone has moved topside. There's so many one-point tosses up here. Fizzerp's going to have one lined up unless he gets cleaned up. That's a big one from Pac-Man going huge.
Wall run. Yeah, wall run. Just do a bit of a suicide here. Pac-Man is going to bring this one all in back. Even pops his kinetic armor to try and stack over the drone carrier. And there you have it, maybe.
3-0 for Rush.
Very commanding as well.
I'm a believer. Believer.
I mean, there's certainly points throughout that game where H2K could have capitalized on. Could have started to, get a lead themselves. I mean, they had a lead. Then they gave it away. Colchan goes big. He gets 2 dunks, both using camo as well. Take a look at the final scoreboard. Colchan, man, 25 and 16. Plus, he had 4 points.
You said Colchan.
Actually, he had all the points.
You said this is his map, right?
Yeah.
How well he can play here. That is an impressive win. It's not the fact that they beat H2K as much as the manner that they did it.
Yeah.
I mean, a 3-0 there over a team. So they're both now 3-3. Rush, you got your org. The squad's together. I like